when you don't have any buffers in your business, there's going to be moments that come up where there's a client that you don't want to work with, or there's something that happens that you need to change, but you don't because you need money.
Yep.
And as soon as you have this client that you particularly is not the right fit, doesn't mean they're a bad person, right? But let's say they're just like, they're not quite the right client for you. They're not quite ready for you.
And you know it in your gut. And you're like, oh, no, this is going to be hours of pain. But
you need the money.
I need the money.
Yeah. So you take it on and then it clogs your whole system and you actually end up running a less profitable business that grows slower. Where if you've got the buffers in place, you can be selective and picky and start playing a longer term game in business, which actually enables more profit and more efficiency. It just seems counterintuitive at the time.
It's actually funny how that scenario you just walked through actually just keeps repeating every stage because it actually, you just literally then just choose the people. It's rather than the clients. It's like, I don't need a client. I just want to work with some cool people.
Well, that's where Let's Get Wild comes into it, Grant.
Totally.
We'll come to that at another point, the debauchery that is my setup. But for many people, you could see this right now as like, okay, maybe I've only got $1,000 a month to invest, don't have buffers, and then they want to get into property, or they take on a large amount of debt to invest in property maybe,
yep,
or get involved in the share market or other things for investing. It's like, how are you meant to keep playing that game if you haven't got these things?
Totally. It's challenging because everyone gets told that like cash in a bank account, like you should just never have it. Right.
If you're a PAYG, I can understand it.
Totally. But it's so, as a business owner, when you've got so many uncertain risks, I find it negligent if you don't have buffers in the business.
Cash is options to our caliber of people.
Talk to me about deposits. So we've got buffers. So we got 12 months living buffer. We got 3 months business buffer, give or take. Again, it's dependent upon everybody and they have to look at their own situation. What about the deposits? What about the second side of this equation?
All right, I've been thinking about this one a little bit here. What I really like about this being in this stage is, regardless if you're going to go into property or go into the share market or whatever you're going to do in investing, the reality is that you're going to want to bring capital to the table.
Completely.
Right. So if you're going into the property world, which we're very biased in and we love ourselves, not financial advice, which I just have to wire in and say everywhere as soon as I say that.
Well, you said shares, so you have to say it now.
All right, not financial advice. But to the point of that is, if you're going to go into property, there's two parts that go with it. One is the servicing, which is your $5,000 a month.
Yep.
So the bank being able to see that, hey, this person's got surplus to be able to support a loan, and so we're going to give them money and borrow from them.
Yep.
The second part of that, though, is that you're going to want to leave at minimum a 20% deposit. Maybe it's a 10 if you really want to push it, but that would be another discussion for another podcast episode.
Just sleep with an eye open. Just like
yeah, I personally wouldn't do it, right? I leave 20% deposits for a reason, but we'll come back to that. People have probably heard me enough ranty about that one. But to have that ready to go.
Totally.
So if you are building up those types of things, if you do that, when you enter stage 3, you don't have to wait around and then be able to play the game. Like, you get to start on the front foot here.
Complete. Is there and I know because everybody can invest in different types of assets, right? Like shares, crypto, property, etc. Is there a certain amount that they should target towards around deposits?
I will give the ratio that I looked at. For myself personally, every time I have 150 grand available, to me, that's the signal that I can buy potentially a property for 500,000.
Yep.
And why is it 150 into 500? You've got about 50 grand of closing costs, whether that's buyer's agents, stamp duty, pest and building, repairs. Like, inevitably, in every property I buy on that ratio, that's about your closing costs.
Totally.
And then your 100 grand is your 20% of 500. So now, obviously, that ratio can scale up and down. If you're doing $1 million deal, you'd say 300. Or if you're doing a smaller deal, you would need less, depending on what you do in there. So that's the type of deposit you would want to have together on top of your buffers to be able to enter that next game in a really strong way.
And it's tough looking at a bank account with like $250,000 sitting in it. And you're like, oh, I need to deploy this somewhere. Like, it takes some serious resilience to actually just like not go and spend it, to go and do something with it.
I think people are mistaken that I'm promising them easy.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's the methodology that I follow and we share here is not one designed on getting rich quick. And I'm sure there's many
Completely.
people that can come out and say, well, Charlie, we could have leveraged this 100% loans, LMIs, didn't need the buffer and done it quicker. Sure, you absolutely could, but you have to take the risk that comes with that. And I look at this and go, I'm not in this to then make something, lose it, and have to start again.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.